since I've done a video, but now that things are starting to settle down, I figured I'd do one real quick. So this right here is a Papuan python. Not a Papuan carpet python, but a Papuan python. You don't really see too many of these available in the hobby. It's one of those rare species that really hasn't been bred all that much in captivity. So let's see, where can we start? So I got a pair of them that were captive born and bred that came from Kevin Wolnensky, and they're just awesome. So this is a 2017, and look at the size. Now, often they get confused with olive pythons, and I guess the color would pretty much say, would show that people would mistake it for an olive python. However, as you can see, the head is nothing like an olive python, which I'll take out some of my olive pythons in a minute. But I don't know if I can get in there, but very short head that these guys have. Now, these are super strong snakes. They probably get about, I think, 14 feet, something like that. Is on the big side for these guys. Very strong snakes. So let's see what else about them. They change color, which is pretty unique for a python. I don't think there's been a lot of research to find out really what's going on that causes that. But yeah, right now, this girl, she's kind of dark. But as you can see, like going down the side, let me see, there's like a stripe that's less of a khaki green color, I guess. So they have a blue tongue, and the inside of their mouth is blue, and they have this nice stripe that's right on the back of their eye. I don't know if you can see it there, but very cool species. Something that I've been wanting to work with for a long time now. In the wild, these guys eat scrub pythons, so you can imagine how strong they are. And a lot of people that have them, are always nervous about breeding them because, a lot of times you'll hear about black-headed pythons eating, snakes and stuff, whereas a lot of that you'll see black-headed pythons eating more lizards than you will snakes, whereas these Papuan pythons actually eat snakes. They do eat rodents too, and they are from Papua New Guinea, obviously, and they have found some on the island of Biak and Misul. So there you go. What a cool snake. It's not the flashiest as far as color goes, but what I'm learning with working with different species of pythons is just appreciating what nature intended. And these are one of those species that I guarantee that if you're seeing a picture, you might not be as impressed, but when you hold one and you see one, you can see why a lot of people really love them. So really cool snakes. I'm excited to be working with them. They take a while to mature, so we're looking at like a 6-year project with these guys. I think, in my opinion, some of the problems with these harder to breed pythons really comes down to people just sticking with the project. I'm guilty of this myself. I've worked with various scrub pythons throughout the past 15 years. And, you know, I get into the project and I'm guns a-blazing, and then for whatever reason, whether it's space, whether it's another project comes along, I just decide that I'm moving along. And I think what happens with species like this when you're trying to establish them in captivity is that, you know, it sort of hits a reset button for them. You know, the big thing is with getting any of these type of species established in captivity is that you sort of have to, you know, get them settled in and get them to feel comfortable. With species like the Papuans or scrub pythons, you know, they're, you know, a little bit on the nervous side to begin with, and then to be moved around, I think that every time that they're sold, it just hits that reset button again. So whereas you may have a 12-year-old animal, but it may have changed hands, you know, 4 times, you're basically resetting that every time to try to get that animal comfortable in captivity again. And I just think of how difficult it was. You know, a lot of people may not know this or remember this, or if some of you may not have even been alive, but, you know, back in the day, it was hard to just keep ball pythons alive, let alone breed them. And now you can pretty much breed them all year long. So, you know, it gives me hope that, you know, figuring out these species like, you know, scrubs and bolins and, you know, Papuans and stuff like that, some of the more difficult species of pythons to breed, that, you know, maybe one day once they're established in captivity with a little more regularity, you'll definitely have them as, I don't want to say easier to breed, but a little more predictable, and a little, you know, get the parameters right, and you'll probably have success. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to be working with these. I picked these up last year, you know, but because of weather and stuff like that, it just didn't work out to get them. But I was able to snag them at Tinley Park pickup, and here they are. So super happy to be working with them. You know, I didn't know what would happen, what I would think of them, but I got to tell you, man, they're really, really cool pythons. They seem like they're always trying to go up, so it leads me to think that maybe when they're, at least when they're younger, they may be more on the arboreal side. I'm not really sure. Super long tongue, which is cool. Really dig them. But anything that can take down a scrub python is pretty awesome in my book. So yeah, there you go, Papuan python. So, you know, I've talked about on the podcast, Morelia Python Radio, how, you know, I'm just amazed by pythons, and the goal is to work with as many different species as I can. So hopefully through this YouTube channel, I'll be able to share some of that stuff with you, because I think right now I'm up to 36 species of pythons that I work with. And maybe every couple of weeks I'll highlight one besides carpets. But I am going to pull out an olive python just to show you the difference in the head, and show you how they are a bit different than these Papuan pythons. And we're going to peek in, one last thing is we're going to peek in on a couple of clutches that I got that are going maternal incubation. So, okay, so this right here is an olive python, and you can see how, yes, it looks very similar. A little more, I guess, lighter in color on this girl, but definitely has the same type of body, color, structure, patternless snake. But look at the difference. Let's see if I can get her here. Look at the difference in the head. See if I can just capture that. Look how long that girl's head is. I mean, her head is huge compared to the Papuan python. Olive pythons are another awesome species that, you know, you don't see a lot of people working with them. And I'm not sure why, because I think once you have one, or even just hold one, you kind of see why the people that work with them really do love working with them. But one more time, let me try to get that head in there. I hope you guys can see that. And also, that stripe is missing from behind the eye. Man, they're cool snakes. Really, really, really dig them. Now, these guys get pretty big too. You're probably looking at about, I would say, they probably average about, you know, maybe 10, 12 feet. They do get big. These guys are a little bit more difficult to breed. They fall into that box. I think once you figure it out, though, they lock in. They have a reputation for being aggressive, but as you can see, this girl here, she's super chill. No worries. Now, I do have a pair of het albinos, and then this girl is just a straight normal olive. Yeah, super cool species. But I just wanted to show the difference between the species, and you can kind of see there her long head. So yeah, cool species for sure. But I think, like I said, I think really it's the color and the pattern, well, the lack of pattern, that really get people, you know, thinking that the Papuans and olives are related. Now, olive pythons are from the genus Lyasis, and you got water pythons and Macklot pythons, Dunn's pythons, Savu pythons, all belong to that same genus, whereas the Papuans belong to Apodora, and they're kind of in a genus by themselves. At one point, they were in the genus Morelia, which is kind of weird. But Morelia used to kind of be that dumping ground of anything with a prehensile tail and was arboreal. So I think, you know, taxonomy is one of those weird things where, you know, it's just us sort of categorizing these things. But I do find it interesting. You know, I know some people kind of get crazy about that, but I think that the research that they have going on now is kind of like, they're kind of almost to the point where everything kind of fits into the right box. Yeah, I don't know. I really dig these. And well, I should also say that these Australian pythons are obviously from Australia. And hopefully when I make the trip over there, I'll get to see these guys in the wild. There is another species of olive python that is not in captivity. I think there's a few people in Australia that are working with them, but definitely not here in the States. Man, cool snakes. So let's go check out some maternal incubating carpet python. Try to do this pretty quick. There she is. She is wrapped around those eggs. And that's pretty much it. She just kind of sits on the heat. She's in her tub and she's going strong. And that's all there is to it. Carpet pythons seem to be one of those species that are just really good at maternal incubation. I've done it a few times. There you go, some twitching and stuff. And basically what happens is, I'm going to close her up so I don't bother her too much. Basically what happens is, they sort of twitch and, look at this girl. That was a zebra, had albino, and she was bred with an albino jag. Now this girl, as you can see, she's kind of off the eggs a little bit. But there she is, wrapped around the clutch. You know, this is just a Papuan carpet python, aka IJ. She's just wrapped there, and she's got her little going on. Sometimes I've seen them leave the clutch. Other times they stay on it the whole time. If you're going to breed them back to back, I would not recommend doing maternal incubation because it really does take a toll on mom. But I'll tell you what, when she opens up those coils and they kind of come out, it's kind of the coolest feeling, seeing those eggs pip. She looks like she's ready to bite me, and she's usually not aggressive, but you know, when you're protecting your eggs, they can get a little feisty. So I'm gonna leave her be. Just figured I'd show you guys. There's no special setups when it comes to this. I just look at it as she's wrapped around those eggs really good, then I'm gonna let her do it and do what she does best. I throw some sphagnum moss in there, and yeah, let her do her thing. So let's let her go back to being a mom, and yeah, very cool. Figured I'd show you guys that.